Just barely.
This is the size of the room. I'm back in the hallway, you know, where the catering is, you know, by the tables out there. I sit in a chair, and I'm hearing that people are coming in, but I had no idea that it was this large of a crowd. Woo! So, I'm speechless, actually, speechless. Wow. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to come. Can I just say thank you to all of you that waited like 4 hours? I will not wait 4 hours for myself. I would not wait 4 hours probably for anybody, but don't tell the other celebrities that I said that. No, you guys you blew me away. That's why I did not leave, because you are all standing there, and I did have to go potty one time.
This is the Disney princess who doesn't take breaks.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you. I have to sit down. My feet are killing me.
Sit down. I was waiting for the lady to sit first.
Is that what you were waiting for?
That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for.
I'm looking at him going, is he going to sit down? Please tell me he's going to sit down.
I was waiting for
my feet are killing me.
Waiting for my
gosh,
minor too.
My feet have fallen off. I do not feel them anymore today.
I feel like I'm not going to tell you how many pharmacies.
She's like, you're a mermaid. You don't have feet. You shouldn't feel your feet anyways.
So,
what did you just say? I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you.
No, that's okay.
Right on top of you.
You're allowed to
Ask my husband. My husband's like, you always talk right on top of me. I do. I interrupt people a lot. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Ariel's not going to apologize for anything, I'll tell you. So I've got a few questions for her. We've got a microphone set up right here with my lovely friend here in the orange shirt, who's going to make sure that you make sure that Ariel feels welcome in Dallas. So if you'd like to line up and ask a question, you can start lining up.
Do they have to wait 4 hours?
Oh no. Oh no.
That lineup? Okay, good.
Oh no.
No more waiting.
So you're a singer, you're an actor, you're a performer of many talents. How far back does that go? Did you want to be a performer when you were a kid? Was that the bug biting you early?
I think, like my mom says, I sort of came out. Come in. Hi. How are you? It's so good to see you.
I love your shirt. It's extraordinary.
He's got that shirt from Tokyo. We're friends.
You've got to write 1,000 friends.
I do. I have a lot of new friends. I know all their stories now. So, anyways, yes, I came out of the womb singing, I guess, and started singing when I was probably like 5. I think I basically drove my family crazy, singing nonstop everywhere. And I started singing in church. My sister is 6 years older, and she taught me how to play the guitar when I was 9. So at Catholic Mass, we used to lead the guitar mass. Do you remember the guitar masses? Mm-hmm. Back in the 70s? And yeah, I'm old. I'm really old. So back in the 70s, we would do these guitar masses. They were the contemporary service. And you know what I'm talking about. You're not holding the hymnal, singing in Latin, right? So she would play guitar, I would play guitar, and we would sing. So that's kind of where it all started, was basically in church.
Is that for a significant amount of time what you wanted to do, was, be on stage?
I was 8 years old, and I do remember this. I told my mom, I said, I want to be a person who can sing, act, and dance, and pay my bills, but I don't want to be famous, and I want to make a living doing what I love to do. So I told her that when I was 8. Now, I'm from a small town, Rockford, Illinois. I'd never seen a musical before. What? No way. Are you really from Rockford? What's the surrounding area? What?
Schaumburg.
I know Schaumburg. Oh my gosh, yeah, so where are you guys?
Chicago. St. Rita High School.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago Catholic School.
All right, there you go. Boys Central Catholic High, K through 12.
This is a great opportunity. Who thinks they traveled the furthest to be here for Jodi?
Oh, I know that many people flew in.
Where'd you come from?
Canada. Yeah.
Canada!
I had several people that
Oh man, I love
flew
Canada.
from
It's a great
Canada.
place.
They flew from Canada to meet me today.
We're in Canada.
Stand in line for 4 hours. What, sweetie? I love you too. And that's so amazing that you flew all that way and then stood in that dang line. I'm so Forgot about that.
Where'd you come in from?
Don't tell me you came from Alaska just to see me. You came to see Jeff Goldblum and Ben Affleck. Right? Am I right? Be honest. What?
Western Samoa? I thought somebody said that they came in from Western Samoa.
Western
I-
Samoa? Racist Samoa?
Everybody's talking at once, so I can't understand
I
that.
think I heard racist Samoan. I don't know what kind of fans we have here, but we're not racist.
Did anyone come from further than Anchorage, Alaska? Anybody?
Anybody further than
Going once, going up. We have
Western
a.
racist?
Scotland.
But not to see me.
No,
You
just
didn't
Scotland. We've got a Ouija over there from Glasgow. Look at that.
Did you really
Did
come
you say
from
Glasgow?
Scotland? But not to see me. No, not just to. Don't say that.
To see you and also
Ben Affleck and.
Jim Goldblum and Jason Momoa's biceps.
That's right. Hey, I didn't see those.
It's one of our favorite attractions here at the show.
I did
You're here
not see
tomorrow.
biceps. I didn't see anything like that. Anyway, thank you. So you just make me feel worse that you guys have been waiting in line. So.
But you all loved waiting in line because you're getting exactly what you wanted, right?
They make friends. Yes.
So small town Illinois.
Yes, small town Illinois. We're backtracking. And then never seen a show, never seen a musical. But I was like, I'm going to be on Broadway. That's what I told my mom. She's like, Broadway? And I had LPs. You guys don't know what LPs are.
They're hip again.
They're
Everybody
hip
loves
again.
them.
I know. My son has a record player, and then his girlfriend has a record player. And I'm like, and they just think it's so cool. We got record players. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I had that when I was a kid. You know, we had like the whole LP thing, and then it wasn't cool. They were so big, they had to get small. So the first LP that I had was Marvin Hamlish's Chorus Line. And so I sang through that whole thing downstairs with a hat and a cane. Made up my own choreography. I thought it was really good. Felt really good about myself. And looked at a mirror and just did my whole thing, and that was that. So I wanted to be on Broadway, but I didn't really know what Broadway was. I just knew it was a place in New York where you could do singing, dancing, and acting.
What was your go-to song on that cast recording?
What I Did for Love, and then Nothing, and pretty much every song, I imagine. Pretty much. But the cool thing is that one of the first Broadway shows that I did, that I got to create the role of Doria Hudson in Smile, was with Howard Ashman and Marvin Hamlish. So when I walked into my audition, Marvin was eating a pastrami sandwich. And
Drinking an orange Julius or something?
yeah, he was. They're hi, so how you doing, honey? You know, so they're eating and the food's kind of coming out of his mouth. And so I'm having like a panic attack because I'm walking in and I have an audition for the lead, and there's Marvin Hamlish, and all I can think about is me in my basement with my top hat and my cane, doing the choreography, you know, in Rockford, Illinois, and it's like. It's such a God thing. I mean, there's no other way to explain it except God just had a perfect plan, and I'm so thankful that I've been on that journey. So
You've been so fortunate to work with so many tremendously legendary people. Howard Ashman is someone that I love hearing people talk about because he's sadly no longer with us to talk about himself. His legacy lives on with the people whose lives he touched and whose careers he irrevocably changed. So tell us how you got into the mix for The Little Mermaid. Were you an early favorite because Howard had worked with you previously?
well, because I had been doing Smile with Howard and with Marvin, you know, we worked on that project for a really long time. And everybody kind of told us, oh, this show's gonna run forever, Tony Awards, la 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 la. Well, the show, you know, got killed by Frank Rich in the New York Times and was devastating. I mean, it was devastating for the whole cast, especially for Howard and for Marvin. So the show closed tragically very quickly. It was just a few weeks, and we all were out of a job. And by that time, Disney had been working with Howard on The Little Mermaid and bringing him on board to kind of rejuvenate the Walt Disney Studios, which the animation studio was shutting down. I mean, we had moved off the lot, moved out on Flower Street into these little warehouse buildings, and weren't even on the lot in Burbank anymore. So it's an incredible season of time at that moment that was about to explode. So Howard felt so badly for all of the girls in the cast that he invited all of us, you know, to audition for Ariel. Actually, to audition for any of the sisters. So I'd never been behind a microphone before, so we had to go to a recording studio, not even a recording studio, just a rehearsal studio for Broadway. And there was an old-fashioned reel-to-reel, you guys don't know what those are, but it's a reel-to-reel with reel tape that goes circling around.
They'll be hip again in 5 years.
And you push a button, record and play at the same time, like that. And so I went to the ladies' room and kind of excused myself, I had no idea what I was doing. Tried to come up with some kind of voice of what I thought Ariel might sound like. And we had listened to a cassette tape of Howard singing Part of Your World. So I just kind of ran in and laid that down, and it was about a year. But I think, again, it was sort of like a pity audition, I think because Howard did feel so badly that we'd all lost our jobs. But he really didn't have a final say in who got the roles. So it was about a year later, and it was between myself and another girl from Smile. But again, they were studying us just by our voices, without our names or our photos attached. So they really didn't know who the person was. They just listened, and Ron and John, our directors, will tell you, we didn't know who we wanted until we heard it. And when we heard Jodi, we knew that that's what we wanted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They really didn't know what they wanted until they heard it. So when it came up to be my name, Howard was completely thrilled and blown away, because we had just been working together for the last few years. So, I mean, there'd be no Mermaid without Howard. It's all Howard.
So just another little behind the scenes bit, they only had your voice to go on. Did you have anything to go on in terms of art, concept art, sketches, anything?
Well, at that time, you know, you have thumbnail prints, and again, we're the last hand-painted, hand-drawn animated feature film in history. You know, all the bubbles, they're hand-drawn. You know, there's no CGI for our film, so it's quite legendary. But we had little baby, what we call thumbnail pencil sketches, but at the time, Ariel was blonde, and that's how she was going to stay. So it was very interesting that they were going to have their very first princess ever in history, because I'm the first princess since Sleeping Beauty. You know, 1961, up until our film, 1989, there were no other Disney princesses. And again, you know, animation was shutting down, so. But Glenn Keane, my lead animator, would just videotape and watch everything, and then you can start. So really, it takes the voice to bring the character to life.
Now, the creative process of putting the movie together and Howard working through on the music side of things, iterating things, changing things, how many different versions of things can you recall having gone through, different versions of songs, or were they pretty well fully formed by the time they were put in front of you?
I think the songs, well, because of Howard and Alan, the songs were very well formed. I'm sure many of you have heard the legendary recordings of Howard. Howard played all the characters. Howard played all the characters better than we did. So, no, it's true. And I was not stupid. I was a very smart actress. So what I did is I did exactly what Howard did. It's exactly his recording. His breath, when there's a vibrato, when there's not a vibrato. When you speak it, when you whisper. He stood next to me for 8 hours as we recorded, right here, next to me, and did not leave my side. And he could just feed me what he needed. And he was a perfectionist, just like I am, so we got along great during Smile as well, because I could completely trust him, 100%. And there's not a lot of people I trust like that. Because he is such a perfectionist, I knew that he wouldn't let one thing go by. He would ride me on stuff. He'd go, no, you're singing too much. You're singing too much. Stop singing. Just speak it. It's a monologue, Jodi. It's a monologue. It happens to be the pitch. Stop singing. I mean, he was amazing, and he played my dad in many scenes. I did get to work with Kenneth, which was amazing, the first day. But then we would record simultaneously, and they don't do that anymore, with plexiglass in between us. And that's great because you could get your line readings and you could develop your character off of who you're working with and get that chemistry going. Now, we don't have that as much now. But as soon as those people left, I had Howard, and he played all the parts. was. Oh my gosh, he could yell at me, make me cry in an instant. It was amazing. He was incredible. And Alan will tell you, you know, there would be no Mermaid without Howard. Alan would not be where he is today with Disney, with all of his Oscars, if it weren't for Howard. Because they hired Howard first. And they, you know, they had some composers in mind, and Howard said, no, you take me, he comes with me. You know, we're a team. This is what we do. And Alan's the first to admit that, always thanking him, giving him honor on stage, which I think is incredible.
Quick question for the audience. How many people Little Mermaid was your first Disney princess movie? Because favorite, I mean, hey, they're here to see you. That's an easy
You know, you
answer.
guys, I mean, you say that they're here to see me, but what they're doing is they're making a connection with a character in a film. And each one of you will remember the first time that you saw the movie. And that's why you cry when you come up in the line and you meet me. That's why you become so overwhelmed, because you instantly, right? You instantly go back to where you were the first time you saw the film and who was with you. Whether it's a positive or a negative flashback. That's why I take the time in a line, because you each have a story to share with me. And it really touches my heart. And I just want to sign my name and pass the picture away. It's because I want to hear, no, it's true though. I mean, listen, you can find my autograph. That's not what you're really here for. You're here because you want to make that connection, and that's what I want to hear. I want to find out. That's why I ask you, what are you feeling right now when you meet me? And it's fascinating. It's an incredible thing to see the connection of a character and a film. It's not just a film, it's a memory. It makes them, each one of us, you know, feel something and remember somebody. And that's what makes it so special.
You're telling me I'm the one on stage with you. Thinking back on The Little Mermaid, as an actor, honestly, like some people have that, oh, this is how I cry on cue. There are things that I can pinpoint directly in my mind that trigger that sense memory, that take you right back. I wonder, doing the film, if there were any moments in the recording booth where it just overwhelmed you, the emotion of what you were singing, where you had to take a moment and retake.
Oh yeah. When Howard would make me cry, I'd always have to stop because he was so scary.
Horrible man.
No, it's just because he knew how to push that button in me. And when it came to the whole scene with my dad, you know, my dad left when I was 11 years old, so I didn't really have that relationship with my dad. So that's what triggered me when I'm shouting, "Daddy, Daddy," you know, and I've got Howard here kind of yelling at me. It was a real trigger for me, so I had to take a couple breaks, you know. And they weren't the fondest memories, and it was very sad, but, you know, I knew that he was able to pull that out of me. That's a sign of a really good director.
I'm not going to steal all of the time from you lovely people, because
I talk too much.
are the reason that we're here. No, I think everybody's enjoying this, yes? Yes, everyone's enjoying We got just one more as we get this set right here.
Okay.
So there's a young man in the audience, a man of the musical theater who you found yourself coupled with, who I hear once was an understudy in the role of Will Parker in a production of Oklahoma with someone named Paige O'Hara. Anybody know who Paige O'Hara is? I don't generally get into the personal life and that kind of thing, but was it a mutual love of the show business that brought you guys together? How did this show couple meet? He's right here. He's trying to not be recognized.
He's trying to hide. Oh, there's the kids. Oh, hey. Hi. That's my son, McKinley. Raising hand. That's my husband, Ray. That's my daughter, Delaney. And that's her boyfriend, Sammy. So everybody's like, hey. Sorry, I didn't see you guys there. I'm sorry, the light's so bright, I didn't see you guys.
We made sure to get them really good seats.
You did give them good seats. That's so sweet. So my husband and I met in 1980. I was 18. Well, see, he's going to clarify because I have a very, very bad memory, and he has a very, very good memory. So if you hear remarks coming from him, it's because I'm saying it wrong things. Okay. So I was 18. You were 21. Is that right so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We met at Opryland Theme Park in Nashville, Tennessee. That doesn't exist anymore. It's a parking lot for the hotel. Did you know that? Okay, so the theme park is no there. But back in the day, for that summer, that was my freshman college summer, and we were dance partners at the I Hear America Singing show. We did 5 shows a day for 6 days a week. Great job. And he came in 4 days late for rehearsal. Is that right? 4 days late. He had just done Tony and West Side Story. So he came in late because he had another job. So cool. So he walked in the door and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And all the girls were like, what? And I'm just like, okay, I gotta get me that guy. Okay, but you know, when you're 18 and then you like somebody, you just act like a total jerk to get their attention. Would that be about right? That would be correct. That would be correct. So, would you like a microphone? Would you like to come up to a little love and marriage show with me? So, yes, I was very, as he will say, very cocky. I had an attitude. I thought I was better than everybody else. Is that sort of what I was like?
No comment.
That's a very wise man right there.
So somebody had to teach this guy that was late. And so for some reason the director selected me to teach him all that he missed, because he missed a lot. So I did. So I was teaching him and I was just being like, whatever, you know. Just like, So the cast sort of starts to see the chemistry going, and we all go on a group movie date, right, with the whole group. And I show up at the movie, and you show up at the movie, and we're standing in the lobby, and nobody shows up. Nobody comes. So we're looking at each other like, and of course that's what I was probably doing, like, oh, where is everybody? I mean, like, I guess we'll see this movie. If you want to see this movie, we'll see this movie. So we say, is that the day that I pressed you up against the wall and kissed you? So basically, I was aggressive. Is that right? And he walked me to my apartment door, and I ended up somehow pinning him up against the wall and laying a big old kiss on him, and that was the end of it. Pretty much. What did I forget?
There's kids here.
No, he's joking.
He says there are kids here, and he's talking about his kids,
No.
not the other kids, just his.
No, he's joking. That's it. It was a kiss. That was it. That's all.
It's going to be all over TMZ in the morning. It'll be on your Wikipedia page tomorrow afternoon.
Oh no, yes. So there we started. We dated for 4 years, on and off. We were cast in a Broadway national tour of Joseph together as a couple, without the director knowing that we were a couple. We did that tour together.
Go, Joseph.
That's right. Go, Joseph, that's right. And then we broke up after the tour, right? So that's all right? So it was kind of that 4-year on again, off again thing. And then we got married in 1984. So how long have we been married?
34 years.
It'll be 34,
4 years.
May 19th. Is that right? May 19th? Yes, May 19th. I got the date right. I'm very happy. May 19th. May 19th. But let me just say, I just have to clarify this. It's all because of Jesus, okay? No, truly. No, really. We were separated for 18 months, and we've had some hellacious times through our marriage, so don't let me paint it all as perfect rosiness, okay guys? So I need to be honest with you. We've had a lot of really hard challenges. Lots of hard times, lots of tough times, pain and growth, but it's all because of Jesus that we got back together again, recommitted our vows. Actually, our pastor Keith is here. Didn't you do our vows with us that night? That's Keith. He's our pastor from New York. We've known him forever. He lives here in Dallas now.
She has such a great entourage. The pastor and the kids and the
Yeah, so he just moved here with his wife. So anyways, so he's here as a guest. But anyways, he did our vow renewal. And so we kind of got married again when our son was born. It was actually his christening service. So when you were christened, your dad and I decided to renew our vows. Start fresh, and thank you, Jesus, for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. So it's because of that man I'm alive. Really, it's true. I wouldn't be here today. I would not be here visiting with all of you if it weren't for that amazing man.
I wasn't fishing for, deep personal details or anything like that, but
I don't care. I'm an open book. I pretty much talk about anything.
But I want to thank you for being, candid and honest about that kind of stuff because, no offense to the Disney princess myths, but there is this happily ever after, everything's clean and easy, and there aren't those kinds of struggles. And to have that example for people to know exists, they're not just living on the fairy tales we're seeing on screen.
So I have an amazing husband who has walked me through quite a few rough patches in my life. And again, if it weren't for him, I would not be alive today, literally not be alive, and have these amazing kids. So I'm blessed, beyond blessed.
I've taken too much of your time. I'm going your public, Your Majesty.
Yes.
Let me make sure the mic works.
Yes, it's working.
Oh.
And say I love you. I gotta take a selfie with everybody before I leave.
Yes,
I don't want to
we
forget
will
to
do that.
Don't let me forget.
We're going to have a little musical thing at the end.
Yes.
So all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay, sorry. Go
Hi,
ahead.
my name is Cordelia, and I just was wondering, what was your favorite Little Mermaid song?
What do you think my favorite Little Mermaid song is?
Part of your world?
That's my karaoke go-to. Yeah, it's my karaoke go-to because nobody expects a guy that thinks like
I never
to get up
heard
and
a guy
karaoke.
sing it. That was a great question, Nani. Thank you. Yes, that song means the world to me, and I never get tired of singing it, and I've been singing it for a really, really long time. But I will tell you this, and honestly, every time the music starts and I get to sing that song, I remember where I was, and I remember where I was standing, and I remember who was with me when I was recording it, and that's exactly where I go to every single time. That's why it never gets old for me. People ask me all the time, aren't you tired of singing? I'm like, no. The song was written for my character, and I'm so blessed to get to sing it. So sweet, sweet question. Thank you, honey. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I don't talk in front of people, so I'm terrified right now. Okay, so when I was little, I made my mom rewind and play the VHS over and over and over again, especially when I was sick and stuff. So when was the first time you realized you touched somebody's life by being Ariel?
Did you guys hear that? When was the first time? That's really, well, it happens every time I get to talk to people. It really does. But I think one of the first times that makes a connection for me are when I hear the stories of children. And when I hear the story of a child who's never spoken before, whether it's on the spectrum of autism or Asperger's or whatever it may be, that has inhibited them from being able to speak, and then they tell me the story the parent does. My child learned how to speak the English language from you. And when your voice was taken and it was given back, and the connection that they make. So I think it's those types of stories. One other powerful story for me was, there was a burn victim unit, and I want to say it was in Michigan. And I met a little girl that would go through her burn treatment, which is incredibly painful. And you're in like a hyperbaric sort of chamber while the skin is renewing itself. It's an incredible process. And she would listen to Part of Your World and listen to the movie over and over again to go through this tremendously painful procedure. And just the impact of what music does and how it affects our lives, that's really powerful. So I'm just grateful that I get to be a small part of something like that in a child's life.
More than a Broadway connection. And when Little Mermaid came out on Broadway, they had some new songs she could have performed.
Oh, you mean from the Broadway show? I really like the quartet. What's the name of that? Thank you. I did get to sing it at the Hollywood Bowl a couple summers ago. So that was really fun because it was fun to hear some of the other music that we don't have from our motion picture. Thank you, that's a great question. Oh, hey friend!
Hi.
How are you? He's my friend.
Yes, we met earlier.
Yes.
So, and speaking of Jodi, there was something I forgot to say. Last year, Christopher Daniel Barnes, Prince Eric, was here. I got to meet him. He's really cool. Yeah, and I actually told him, you know, they're working on a live-action adaptation of The Little Mermaid. Disney is, and I said he should play Eric's father. Would you consider playing Queen Athena, Ariel's mother, in it?
Thank you. That would be lovely. That's a great question, sweetie. I appreciate that.
Best questions are ones that volunteer you work.
That's right.
Here's some residuals.
That's right. Thank you. Actually, you know, Alan Menken and Richard Kraft, his agent, and the various people that I guess are somehow involved, have kindly mentioned that they'll put the old lady in the movie somewhere. So, whether that's that's just a bunch of friends saying that to me. Does it really happen? I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, I would be honored to do pretty much anything in the film. And I said this in Salt Lake, I'd be happy to play a pirate. Dress me up as a guy, you know, give me no teeth. I'd be good with that.
And then one last thing, I did enjoy last year's live-action Beauty and the Beast film. It would have been nice if they had Paige O'Hara and Robbie Benson do something in it. It would have been cool to see them in it. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed not to see them in it.
Yeah. Well, that's what was special about Enchanted, like sort of inside joke.
Oh, yeah.
By putting us all in the movie. You know, Kevin Lima, it was really, because he's an animator, he was the director, it was really just a little inside joke that he did. We didn't really expect anybody to know who we were. And just the way that he set each scene up was very clever.
And one last thing, yeah, they said a sequel still might happen. Would you consider returning as Sam, Patrick Dempsey's secretary?
Oh, that'd be a big yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetie. It's good to see you again.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I actually wanted to ask a favor. It's my 30th birthday, and I was wondering if you would sing Ariel's aria.
For your birthday? Oh, how sweet. What's your name?
Sarah?
Okay, Sarah, this is for you. That's Clayton, everybody. Clayton.
Jodi,
That was totally the wrong key. I'm really sorry. I just
No,
couldn't
no,
pull
that's
that.
perfect.
I couldn't pull
It
it
was
out of the hat.
exactly
Like, I had no idea.
Jodi, I feel like we need to help the audience wish her a proper happy 30th birthday by singing happy birthday to her, yeah? I think we can do that.
Okay, everybody.
After you.
Oh, me. Happy birthday to you.
What's your name?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Harmony. Happy birthday to you.
She's right, what a shock.
And she's crying. And I had to call that out in the line. I'm like, we have a crier! You can
Round of
see
tissues.
it! And then I'd be like, do your photo up first. Photo up first. Hold your tears. Hold your tears in. Take the picture. It was just like this. I'd be like, oh, that's an ugly cry. We don't want that picture. Yes?
Right ahead.
So I do like theater and stuff, and I was wondering if you have any audition tips for people, just like whenever going on audition.
Any audition tips?
Yeah.
Oh, believe in yourself. You really have to think that you've got something to share. That's just really big. When you walk in a room, if you don't believe in what you've got, that you have something to offer, then they're definitely not going to. So you just walk in there and have a great time because they want you to be good. They want to find somebody. They really would rather not look at 150 girls. They'd like the first girl to walk in and go, oh, thank God, she's fabulous. We want her.
We're done.
We're done. We can go have lunch. So it's really, yeah. Just go in there and do your thing, honey. Just have fun. Do your thing. Good job.
How are you? Good.
Good.
I was wondering if you thought that The Little Mermaid Broadway lived up to the original.
Yes, you know what? We did. The kids and Ray and I went opening night on Broadway.
Sienna of August was absolutely
She was
outstanding.
fantastic. And I cried the entire show. Ugly cried. The entire show. We had already done the red carpet, you know, which was great, because once I got in my seat, I was done. I was done. Oh my gosh, it was so fantastic. I loved it. I really did. I thought it did the movie justice, and I thought it brought a whole other layer that Broadway could, that we couldn't in the animated portion. You know, I really did. Great question, honey. Thank you.
Hi. Sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if you really have an answer to this, but what's the strangest thing anyone's ever asked you to sign for them?
Strange, weird, interesting, surprising thing that you had somebody bring you to sign.
Okay. Well, one time a little girl pulled her dress up and turned around and showed me her underpanties. And then her mom was like, can you sign them?
Were they at least Little Mermaid?
You know what they did? They went to the restroom, they took them off, and they came back out and I signed them. No, honest to God, true story. Because literally I'm there, just imagine Ariel squatting down with a pen at a child's bottom. That does not, no.
Those photos would never disappear.
Good. That is not good. So she did, she went, and I don't know if she had a diaper or whatever, but she came back out. Maybe she was flying high, I don't know. Anyway, she came back out in her little dress, and then she's like, here's my panties, sign my panties. So I signed her panties. I'm sorry?
Were they at least Little Mermaid themed?
They
Underwear?
Yes, they were Little Mermaid underpanties. They were. I would definitely not have signed them if they were like the Hulk. The other thing is the tattoo guy, one of the tattoo people asked me to sign their belly, and I was like, no, I'm not going to sign your flesh. That's weird. So I said, you just give me something like real to sign, not like your body. I'm not going to sign your body. So.
Can I ask you real quick, what made them change Ariel's hair from blonde to red?
That's a good question. I don't know.
The Little Mermaid, now available on special edition Blu-ray from Disney Home Entertainment.
Don't know the answer to that. I'd have to ask Glenn and all the powers that be.
I want to say that it's in the commentary track or one of the feature credits, behind the scenes stuff.
He probably knows.
Oh, Splash, Daryl Hannah and Splash, that's why they did it.
It was because of Daryl Hannah. Like a horse. Splash, you know the movie Splash? We get another question. Next question. Thank you. Kidding you. I'm kidding you. Thank you for the answer. Hi. Oh, friend. Hi, friend.
What do you think about all the new movies coming out? What's your opinion about?
About the live action?
Or animated like Frozen?
Oh, I love all the animation stuff that's coming out. Love, love, love. Tangled and Frozen. I love them. I have not seen Coco. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry.
Well, prepare to ugly cry harder than you.
Okay, I will definitely see it. I'm sorry, my kids have seen it. Oh, my daughter's booing me.
Somebody back there's like, you call yourself a Disney princess. What? gonna get disinherited.
Booed me. I know where you live.
Heckling gets dangerous.
Yes, no, I do. I love all the animation that's coming out. Love it. Did I answer your question? Okay, good. Thank you. Yes. We have notes. You've written notes. You're scaring me.
No,
Let me
I'm
pull up
gonna
my notes.
record it if that's okay. To
Oh,
show all
that's
my
really
friends
fine.
how cool
Yeah,
I
I'll
am
send the
on the
release.
weekend.
Oh.
And my students. So I've grown up loving Disney ever since I was little, and now I am 30. Am I 30? I'm 31. Sorry, I'm 31.
Join the
It's
club.
okay.
I
I'm
have
nervous
no
too.
idea how
I'm
old I
nervous
am.
too.
I'm with you.
I'm 31 and I have 2 kids, and watching the Disney movies again as a mom has definitely changed my parenting, everything. So how has being a part of Disney impacted you being a mother?
Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to answer that question. Once I became a mom is when my whole relationship with Disney and this job and everything, it changed. 180-degree change. Because now I was able to pass this on to my kids and be able to bring them into the family. And yeah, it totally changed before kids and after kids as far as being a Disney cast member and as far as, you know, my passion and my love for the company and what I represent. Because now I've got to put my money where my mouth is and I've got to walk my talk. You know, if I'm going to stand for family entertainment, then I have to stand for family entertainment. I've got to draw the line, what I can and can't do. And so it's been really important, you know, to obviously model to my kids, but to be authentic and to be vulnerable and to be real and not to be fake. You know what I mean? Like to be the same person all the time, no matter where I am. That's really my heart's desire. You know, I blow it every day. Ask my kids. I blow it ask my husband. I blow it every single day.
That would be correct.
This is the best stage show we're having. Stage shows off stage.
So yes, to answer your question, yes, it has made everything much sweeter for me as a mom, getting to share everything with my kids, our kids. I can't say my kids, our kids. I have a habit of doing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Hey, these are all my friends from the line. Hello.
In another line.
Yes.
So,
It's okay. Take your time.
You got this.
thanks.
It's okay.
So part of your world has been my lullaby for as long as I can remember. 3 years old? Wow, long time. Anyway, I remember commentary saying that they almost considered cutting this song.
Yeah.
What were your feelings on that? Or could you imagine it being any other way?
That's such a great observation. You're absolutely right. At one of the major screenings that we did across the nation, there were children dropping popcorn and running up and down the aisles during Part of Your World. And Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was head of the studios at the time, brought it forward and said, it did not test well, guys. We're going to cut this song. And Howard Ashman said, no, absolutely not. You do not cut this song. We have to have a Disney heroine that has an I want moment. She has to have her I want song. Otherwise, the whole movie won't make any sense and connect the dots. And after the movie came out, and to see the impact that the song had, Jeffrey immediately apologized to everybody and said, you know, I am so sorry. That would have been one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. And of course, I couldn't imagine my life without the song and being able to share it for 30 plus years all around the world, you know? So yeah, very, very grateful. Very grateful. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
So look, it's your friend with her friend.
Hi, so I've been cosplaying Ariel for like 3 years. So I cried whenever you walked in, bawled like a baby.
Look, it's amazing that I've kept it together this well so far.
I don't know how. But I I'm going to get your autograph later, but my question is, when did you just know that this role was made for you? Like, when did you just know that, like, this is me?
When did it become more than an audition for you?
Yeah.
I would say probably during the recording of the song. You know, during the dialogue, I had no clue what I was doing, and I was really struggling, you know, trying to figure out. I'm such a people pleaser. I just really wanted everybody behind the glass to be happy. So that was my biggest concern, was pleasing everybody behind the glass. But it wasn't until I started to sing that I was like, okay, this is what I was created to do. I know that God gave me a voice for a reason, and when I sing, I just go to a different place. You know, it's something that when you are doing the thing that you were created to do, you just leave. It's like, as soon as I start singing, I forget where I am. I don't remember where I am, I don't remember who's in front of me. It takes me to a whole nother place. So I think, for me, that's my sweet spot. And for me, at that moment, is when I said, yeah, I can bring me to Ariel, you know, and we can sort of join up and become one. And that was the same for Glenn Keane, my lead animator. He said, the second you started singing, Ariel came to life for me, and I was able to start sketching her. I could actually see her coming to life. And so for an animator to be able to verbalize what it was that I was feeling, I knew that it was a really special moment. Yeah, thank you for that question, honey. No one's ever asked me that before.
I didn't expect to get this nervous. So Little Mermaid was the first Disney movie I saw at a theater. I was like 3, and I just remember loving it. And my question is, have you seen like the hipster Ariel memes online?
No, I don't even know what a meme is. No, I'm sorry, I really don't know what that word is, and I asked
Honestly,
the kids,
you're better for it.
but I've asked the kids many times, can you please explain what a meme? And then they explain it to me, and I go, oh, yeah.
So it's like
awesome.
this picture.
But I never know what it is.
Yeah, it's a picture of Ariel and somebody like photoshopped on like glasses on her, and they'll say something kind of hipster funny, like, my name isn't Ariel, it's Helvetica.
Oh, okay.
Like a font. You know, weird stuff like that.
Yeah, just, I wish I could explain it, honestly.
It's one of those things you have to see.
It's a very creative way that many people waste time on the internet.
And so your question is, how do I feel about that?
Oh, we have a visual aid.
She looks like she's constipated. Can you see that? She really looks like she's in pain. Is she in the middle of childbirth? She's not my friend. I like her. I'm sorry. No, I don't particularly care for that at all. She doesn't look very happy. Was that your question?
Yeah, there is a YouTube series where someone does hipster Ariel, but she's very cool, and he is awesome.
And he doesn't look like he's in bodily pain?
Yeah, he looks fine. He looks great.
And he's great. Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll have to see that sometime, if somebody could tell me how to do that.
We'll find the reference material.
Thank you.
Oh, pretty. Oh, sorry, this is such a surreal moment for me. I love you so much. Jodi, like, you are so beautiful in person, I just have to say. Like, so, Ariel created so much for me in my life. When I was younger, when I used to watch Little Mermaid, I used to like literally want to be her, of course. And I would start like singing along with Part of Your World, of course. And that's kind of when my dad was like, you know, hey, you can sing. So he put me in like vocal lessons, and it started like my theatrical career and, you know, everything like that. So I feel like I wanted an opportunity to say thank you for inspiring me every single day, every step of the way. I don't know where I would be without Ariel.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
If I could ask a huge favor, my friend Caroline, who can't be here today, she's a huge fan of you and a huge fan of all Disney and animation. She would love if you could just say hello to her, to Caroline.
Okay, hello, Caroline. Love
Thank
to
you, Jodi.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, honey. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm a bit of a gamer. So my question is, can you tell me if you're going to be playing Ariel in Kingdom Hearts 3?
How ironclad is that NDA?
You know what? I have no idea. I can honestly tell you, I have no idea. Until the phone rings and my husband picks up the phone and talks to the powers that be, then he tells me what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. But yes, I would love to be able to do Kingdom Hearts 3. I would love that. Thank you. Sweet. Yes?
I was wondering what your favorite scene in The Little Mermaid is. Also, can you say hi to the little guy? His name is Landon.
Hi, Landon. Hi, cutie pie. Oh, hello, sweetie. What's my favorite scene? Ooh. I love the final scene when she tells Daddy that she loves him. That always gets me. That moment when he's kind of let her go, and she just kind of realizes all the sacrifices that he's made and the loss that he had of losing her. And when she, you know, is hugging him and says, you know, I love you, Daddy. I just, that gets me. That gets me every time. That's a beautiful, beautiful scene. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Bye, Hannah.
Real quick, how many more people do we have in line? I want to try to get to everybody. Two people in line? We can do that.
I already told you how much I love Ariel while we were in the autograph.
Oh yes, hi friends.
But so I know a lot of people are here for Ariel, but you also did Toy Story as Barbie.
Yay!
And I would love to hear you use your Barbie voice.
Do I have it right? I mean, you were the first voice of Barbie in animation.
Yes, first voice of Barbie in animation, and actually Mattel had been invited to be in Toy Story, the original. And at that moment in time, Mattel said no, because Barbie is, you know, an icon, and she's not going to be in an animated feature film. And then all of a sudden, they saw how successful Toy Story was. So when Toy Story 2 came out, Mattel was like, sign us up! She's in here! Barbie was really fun. I actually did an audition for that. It's really kind of crazy for some reason. John Lasseter, the brilliant John Lasseter, our chief, our leader, the genius that he is, hired me. And I remember going to work the first day and I was like, John, why me for Barbie? He's like, because I know you have it inside of you. I said, no, yeah, but you've only heard me do Ariel. He goes, it doesn't matter. I know you can do it. So we took out a box of Barbies and we started playing with Barbies, he and I. No, it's a true story. A box of Barbies, and we started making them talk to each other. We kind of do it, and he'd do this, and I'd do this, and then we'd start just playing around, and there was a script, but basically the directors, Lee, and then our producer Darla and John, they were kind of writing her script as we were, you know, playing with these Barbies. So I just kind of put my hands to my side and I just started to kind of play with her. Hi, I'm tour guide Barbie. Welcome to Big Al's Toy Barn. Back in 1995, short-sighted retailers did not make enough dolls to meet demand. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So we just played with Barbies and just sort of, you know, came up. And that whole end sequence consequences. Like, bye-bye, bye-bye now, bye-bye. Are they gone? Is everybody gone? Oh my God, my mouth is killing me. So we would just start playing. All that stuff is ad-libbed with John and Lee. I mean, they just wrote the stuff as we went. It was the most fun on a film. It was incredible. And then doing Toy Story 3 was crazy because I never met Michael Keaton. So when I went to work, I'm so excited because I'm going to meet Michael Keaton. I'm going to work with Michael Keaton. And I walk into the studio on the lot, and he comes out of the recording studio with a hoodie and a thing on and a mask and like coming and goes. And he literally walks by, and they're like, "That's Michael Keaton." And I'm like, "Hey, Michael, how are you?" And I'm like trying to talk to him, and he's just like, and they went by because he was really sick. He was really, really sick. Sick as a dog. So I was so bummed that I didn't get to work with him. So I didn't meet him until the red carpet. Literally, the family and I, we met him at the red carpet. But I did, I saw him kind of walk as a masked man, you know, sick, and I was like, "Hey, Michael, I'm Mark." Hey, be right back at you. Okay. So I didn't quite go the way I had.
Barbie Ken divided by fate.
That's right. Divided by sickness. But it was great. It was a really great film to get to work on. Thank you, sweetie.
Hello. Hi there.
Hello.
I'm not sure if you can tell I'm more of a Disney villain kind of fan. So I know that y'all didn't have like a scene sequence between you and Ursula, but y'all had like some dialogue. I just wanted to know how you felt, because you said there's a glass, you can see them. How did you feel like working with Ursula? Was like fun, or was she intimidating?
Oh no, Pat is incredible. You know, Pat is an amazing, amazing woman. So loving, so kind. But as Ursula, she was so scary. And she gets that voice going. But she was great. Like I said, I got to work with each person for at least 15, 20 minutes that first day, so we could sort of get a sense of what's going on with our relationship, and then start to record by yourself, which was very helpful. But then I got to play Vanessa in the film, which is, you know, that whole thing where she takes a voice and then it's me. And so it was fun because I got to pretend to be Pat. So when she does her whole cackle and all that stuff, I got to imitate her, which was really fun. It was fun to be a bad girl for a little scene.
She really, I think it wasn't yet cool to really be into the villains and villainesses, and she really pioneered that. There were as many fans of Ursula as there were Ariel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's such an incredible woman. I mean, she's so loving and kind. She's so polar opposite. But she'll tell you, she goes, kids are scared to come up to her, you know? Yeah. We got to ride the Little Mermaid attraction together for the first time. We opened it in California together, I think, or Florida. We opened the one in California. So we rode the ride together. It was so fun. She was like a little kid. He was like, you know, she was so excited. It was very funny. Did you have anything?
Oh no, just, she was my favorite villain, so I just wanted to know how it was. That's all.
Thank you.
I didn't want to leave until you were done.
Oh, no.
Again, people politely waiting for their cue. Just waiting for Jodi to cue.
That's fine, I'm sorry. And if anybody needs to leave, please just get up and leave. Sir, why are you
Nobody needs to leave.
Why are you leaving, sir? Where are you going?
Oh, he's just patrolling. He's working.
Okay.
He's working here, lady.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, he's giving us the sign. We have to go.
Oh, yeah.
He's going like this.
Yeah, because you know that we're almost to the end of the questions.
Stop talking. Okay, here we go.
We got something fun. We got something special. We're running the questions. Go for it.
Hi. We're all here because we're such massive fans, and the movie's impacted all of our lives. I was really curious more about your family and how it's impacted your kids, and more importantly, if you are their favorite princess.
The daughter's covering her head. She's like, I better not answer this.
Well, of course, I'm not going to speak for my kids, for our kids. I'm not going to speak for our kids. But, you know, Disney has been very good to us. And I'm a very happy cast member. I'm very proud of our company. And it's because of Disney that our family has been able to experience things all around the world. And just have incredible memories that we've made together as family, I think, and just the experiences. And Delaney wore her Little Mermaid nightgown to shreds for 3 years straight. So I bought multiples of it. You know, you can't wear the princess gown because it's scratchy. So we did she did the nightgown. But I had to have multiple copies of it because she literally wore it spring, summer, winter, and fall. She'd layer underneath it jeans and a long sleeve white turtleneck. Or in the summer, it's just, you know, the little... So she was...
Her daughter's thrilled that she's here now.
So I don't know if you had a choice about being, because I had been shopping with Ariel stuff long before you were born, hoping and praying that I would have the opportunity to have a little girl one day. Because I certainly wasn't going to put McKinley in a crown and a princess gown. Which I
doesn't look like it would have gone over well with him either.
I didn't do that to him. He was a Peter Pan Pirates of the Caribbean guy all the way. And so I think you were forced. Honey, were you forced to be an Ariel fan?
That is correct.
At least she's honest. But you kind of like her. Okay. And I do tell this story.
Yeah, she's okay, I guess.
I do tell this story when I did a concert. She was 4 years old, and I did a concert, and she came up on stage and sang a little bit of Part of Your World with me, grabbed the mic from my hands. I was like, you go, girl. And she is a beautiful singer, great dancer, great actor. Our son is a filmmaker, incredible filmmaker, so dang proud of them. Sorry, I just had to say that. But she grabbed the mic from me and she started singing, and then after we finished Part of Your World, I kind of did a little Q&A with her, and I said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm going to be Ariel after my mom dies. Not anytime soon though, right, honey? No, Mommy. But after you die, I'm gonna be Ariel. Okay. True story.
I seem to have a pact still going.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. We got everybody in the line. You guys back there in AV, if you can let me know when we're ready to go there. Lights back down.
Oh, that doesn't matter. So guys, oh, I'm sorry.
Are you guys ready when we're ready? All right, cool.
Are you ready? So, listen, I know it's super late, and I've been talking a long time, and you guys have been so gracious and so kind, waiting in lines 4 hours today. But I do just really want to say thank you. I really do want to say thank you for allowing me to be part of your world for all these many years, for your children, your grandchildren. I mean, we're on our 3rd generation now of this film and the impact it's made. So I just want to say thank you.
So everybody, this is where you definitely want to have your phone out if you don't already, because we're going to do something special and interesting. Jodi, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying long. We started late because we had to pack every single person into this room. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience thus far. I'm going to turn it over to Ariel to close us.
Thank you so much. We haven't done a sound check, so let me just hear what the track sounds like. Is that okay? Okay, do it. Okay, good. Can we do it again? Thank you. That's good. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the first one.
We're really peeling the curtain back.
Yeah, no, that's good. There we go. Perfect. Oh, thank you, Clayton.